Years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson said something that sounded almost ridiculous. In this video, we'll analyze the football Michael Carrick has implemented at Manchester United from a tactical perspective, showing just how right Ferguson was. He called Michael Carrick the best English player of his generation. Not the flashiest, not the fastest, not the one making headlines, the best. And most people didn't see it. Carrick didn't dribble past 5 players. He didn't scream at teammates. He didn't demand the spotlight. He just controlled things quietly, structurally, almost invisibly. Chaos would disappear around him. Games would slow down. And most fans never even noticed why. Fast forward to early 2026. Carrick is now on the touchline at Manchester United, the club that has drifted through a decade of instability. And suddenly, something clicks. The experiments, the chaos, the constant identity crisis, all of it replaced with clarity, defensive stability, vertical transitions. Classic United DNA. The results speak for themselves. Rivals like Manchester City and Arsenal fall. Heroes emerge in stoppage time. Fans are dreaming again. And if you look closely, it's no coincidence. The same intelligence that made Carrick a quietly dominant player is now shaping the way his team moves, organizes, and bends the pitch. This isn't hype. This isn't energy. This is Carrick Ball, the geometry of football. And now we're going to take a deep dive. Okay, now that we're done with the phase of praising Carrick, let's take a closer look at Carrick's football. Let's try to find a tactical analysis. I think the Tottenham match is the best example to explain this, so I will use that game as a reference. As soon as Carrick arrived, he switched back to a back 4 in defense, and took his first correct step by putting players into the right roles. But of course, his success cannot be explained only by that. It's not like he moved to a 4-2-3-1, and everything was suddenly fixed. Things are more complex than that. In this part, we will slightly change our perspective on football. When we look at Carrick's team, the situation is not just a formation change. Recently, there have been some clear principles in United. So what are these principles? Players playing closer to each other, combination football, giving players freedom. And recently, another different idea is being introduced into the team. Here, I'm especially talking about playing more diagonally with passing. Let's take a closer look at this now. Generally, when the ball is at a player's feet, you either play a horizontal pass and spread wider on the pitch, or you play a vertical pass and get closer to goal. So, it's like a trade-off between spreading wider across the pitch and getting closer to goal. But if you play a diagonal pass, you both get closer to goal and also change the area horizontally. 2 birds with 1 stone. Of course, the philosophy of playing diagonally is more than this. For example, when we first see it, we call it a 4-2-3-1. But if we push the right back a little forward, shift Maguire and Martinez, pull Casemiro towards the ball side, move Meno slightly wider, and make one side of the pitch more crowded, suddenly we say, United have switched into a back 3. But maybe this is still a 4-2-3-1, and we are just looking at it from the wrong angle. For example, when we see this in the game, we call it an overload crowding one side. But maybe this is not just an overload, this is a structure. Maybe there are diagonal lines all over the pitch, and players constantly position themselves along these lines. If we look at this episode, we don't just see an overload, but a new back 4 line. Luke Shaw on the left, Kobe Mano and Martinez as the central 2, and Maguire as the right side. But it is a slightly horizontal back 4. In this system, the player on the ball becomes the reference point. For example, when Martinez has the ball, the team shape is built diagonally in front of him, and the aim here is very simple. The only aim of football, to move the ball to the opponent's goal in the shortest way possible. For example, if the ball is central, everyone knows the target is to reach the goal. But when the ball shifts to the side, the angle changes. Then you need to create diagonal chains. Players must be on the same diagonal line, so that you can combine your way inside. If you play vertically, the ball ends up near the corner flag. If you play diagonally, you return back into the center and get closer to goal. This is what United have been doing in recent matches. Players are close to each other, playing on the same diagonal line. The passing pattern consists of short vertical and horizontal passes, but when you look at the bigger picture, it continues continues in a diagonally progressing way. This creates diagonal progression on the pitch. By playing this way, players find themselves as quickly as possible inside the opponent's danger zone, and the more you enter that zone, the higher your chances of scoring naturally become. Now let's visualize what we have explained with this position in the 22nd minute. Against Tottenham, the move starts with Bruno's classic short diagonal pass, and from a wider view you can easily see how the entire team movement is on diagonal lines. Now look at what this does to Tottenham's defense. We always talk about how important it is for the back four to protect their defensive line, but when the opponent attacks you diagonally, that line is forced to break. If we look at the position from the beginning, Maguire plays a horizontal pass to Dalot. Dalot plays vertically and the ball reaches Fernandes. Fernandes immediately plays to Kobe Mino and the attack begins. From this moment, look at how Manchester move in a diagonal way. Mino plays horizontally to Cunha. Cunha plays vertically back to Mino. Mino plays horizontally back to Cunha. And Cunha finally plays a vertical pass into Mbemu entering the danger area. But at the last second, the defense can intercept. Now the same thing 15 minutes later from the left side. The ball is with Martinez and the entire team is positioned horizontally from the ball towards the goal. Martinez plays horizontally to Mino. He plays vertically to Cunha. Cunha again plays horizontally. Fernandes plays a vertical pass back to Cunha and Cunha enters the danger zone. In fact, just 1 minute later United score with a cleverly designed corner routine and go 1-0 up. Let's look at one more example from the second half. Minute 49. Dalot receives the ball wide and deep on the right side, and again the diagonal attack towards goal begins with those staircase-shaped horizontal and vertical passes. Dalot plays vertically to Bruno. Bruno finds Casemiro with a horizontal pass. Casemiro plays a vertical pass and puts Mbemu into the danger zone again. Although the chaos afterwards ends with a goal, the offside decision comes. When I look deeper into this system, another thing I love appears. This system always offers multiple options. United constantly need to be a multi-threat, meaning they need to create danger against the opponent in as many different ways as possible. And when we look at the pitch from this perspective, seeing Manchester United in this position actually makes a lot of sense. There are two center backs at the back, which is very normal in football. There is a full back staying deep on the right, which is also familiar. There is a holding midfielder and a central midfielder who has dropped slightly wider. We see this all the time. This allows the full back to move forward. The winger can come inside. There is a striker up front and a winger on the far side providing width. We see this often and we describe it as building with two center backs. But again, if we slightly change the angle, we can see that this is still a back four in defense, but the team is simply continuing to use the pitch diagonally. And maybe the double pivot looks like Mbemu and Casemiro. It sounds strange in terms of profile, but it makes sense from this perspective. Now if we look at it like this, then is this still technically a 4-2-3-1? If we take our diagonal lines into account, yes, everything is correct. We talked about how this system allows us to progress through the middle and get closer to goal, but you can't always do that. If you want to be a multi-threat, you must stretch through the middle, create threat in behind, and also spread wide, and playing with diagonal lines really provides this as well. You may say, wow, what a diagonal line, but I would suggest you look at this too. For example, when Martinez has the ball here, and we want to use the wide play, only two short diagonal passes are enough. Martinez to Mano, Mino to Luke Shaw. We played diagonally, and now we are in a 1 versus 1 situation out wide. The same on the right side. Maguire has the ball, short diagonal pass to Dalot. Dalot continues in a similar way to Ahmad, and again 1 versus 1 out wide. Moving the ball diagonally allows players to receive with a more open body position. This makes it easier for them to play forward. There is no need to turn your back while receiving or constantly check the defender's position, because your back is already safe, the touchline is behind you. This is the area where players feel the safest. Let's quickly visualize this with Bruno Fernandes' goal. Minute 80. Mino plays diagonally to Ahmad. Ahmad lays it off to Mbemu. After Mbemu delays a little, the ball comes back to Mino. Mino plays a short diagonal pass to Dalot. Dalot crosses inside and Fernandes finishes, making it 2-0. But the clearest theme I saw while watching these matches is this: United constantly play diagonally. If the video was a bit confusing, I apologize. Maybe it needs to be watched twice, but in the next United match, I recommend you pay attention to this. When players are positioned on diagonal lines, when they form a diagonal row across the pitch, or when they attack by creating diagonal chains inside. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. United use this both to isolate fullbacks in 1-versus-1 situations out wide, and also to pierce through the middle. That's why Carrick's team is very enjoyable to watch. So the situation is not just 4-2-3-1 and the right players in the right places. The situation is United's way of playing, always finding the fastest route to the opponent's goal or creating a 1-versus-1 situation out wide. And this is turning them into one of the most dangerous clubs in the Premier League right now, which is also reflected in their results. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe because more content is coming. Thank you for watching.